Okay, Jovi, I'm really sorry this took so long. So here's the level so far. And right now it's just a straight line. We could perhaps have it so there's some twisting corridors and stuff, because I was worried maybe just having one straight line could get boring. But yeah, right now the intro where Barnaby in the song is like, woohoo, it's to die for. It's just pretty simple at the moment. Maybe we could just have something more interesting going on, but my plan is for it to not be too difficult. And we just have some swinging axe traps at the moment, but it could be anything. And then we have this little segment here where the player's just hopping to the beat. This could be anything. It could be perhaps destroyed floor, so this could be like a hole in the floor. And platforms. The important thing is I just want the player to be jumping to the beat. So if you have like any other ideas, that's totally fine. I just want to encourage jumping. These blue things here are like the beats of the song. So I've like tried to line them up to the beats of the song. Then we have these ghosts here, and once again, I just want the player to jump at these points. There are very specific points in the song that sound like bells at this point, so if you listen to the song when I'm playing through it, it sounds like dong, 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 dong. So I've just put the ghosts here as a placeholder for now. I will probably swap them out to something else, just because you can actually run between the ghosts at the moment, and I want to encourage jumping. Could once again just be some holes in the floor, or some spikes, or whatever. But yeah, so once again, a lot of these things that I've put here are just placeholders to just get the player doing what I want, and then I was going to think about what it's going to look like aesthetically later. This point here, acid, this is where Barnaby mentions a rusty knife or an acid water gun, and I imagine that he might bring a knife out or bring one of his hands out, because you've got all those hands in that concept currently like coming out the walls, that he might bring out a knife and try to stab you or swipe you as you walk past. Can I help you? I was recording that video for Jovi.
Oh, it was.
Well, yeah, I am. Anyway, yeah, so we got some saw blades here. And what I quite like about this segment right now is that this is a conveyor belt. We introduced this earlier on in the level before you get to this part, because my plan is once the chase sequence is finished, I'm going to make sure that all these mechanics are taught earlier on. So the player will be very familiar with this conveyor belt system. And we could also have some acid on the floor from the acid water gun, and these are saw blades currently. And one of the design challenges that I was facing is that Billy's speed cannot technically be controlled because she's being kept in beats of the song. So these are like bars of the song. This is like bar 17, and we have a system in place that if the player is going too slow, the system will speed her up, and if they are going too fast, the system will slow her down. But on these conveyor belts, it kind of changes it a bit, because this conveyor belt is pushing her backwards, and it allows the player to double jump to shoot past the saw blades and kind of judge their speed a bit better, which is something they can't normally do from a game design standpoint. So I quite like this segment. Additionally, something we can do with Barnaby is we can control his speed. So we can make him faster or slower. So at this point in the song, I make him faster so that he gets really uncomfortably close to you here. And the music also sort of makes you feel quite tense. And by the time you jump past this segment, we've got this ice skating segment. And I make Barnaby slow, so it kind of feels like you're getting away from him and you're making a bit of space between you and Barnaby. So we could have some like ice skating boos, or perhaps something else that could mean that Billy could ice skate. Another idea that I had for the full game, I'm not sure if I'll do it for the demo just because I'm worried about introducing too many mechanics. But we could move this segment, perhaps to like the lobster tank or something, and make this water. And have the player use their ice ability instead, so that they have to be like, oh crap, water, what am I supposed to do? I can't swim through this. I use my ice ability. So maybe it's like quick thinking of like, there's water here, not ice. Let me just use my ice ability and skate through this, rather than just having ice there. So we could move this. These things can be moved around, is what I'm saying. Like, these hazards are fun, but they could move position depending on where they are in the song. We could move this section to somewhere else, and focus on the acid line. That kind of thing. This segment is kind of boring at the moment, I don't really like it. And the rail grinding segment I'm not too keen on. I messed around with the wall jumping segment here as well. I slow down Barnaby and kind of try and put the pressure on. Maybe there's like a gate here that you can't get past, the player has to wall jump up. It's a little hard to telegraph at the moment, but I think maybe if I put decals on the wall to sort of show like this is a good point to wall jump, like some footsteps or something on the walls, maybe it would trigger the player to use them. But I'll play through it once I'm done speaking. And there's another little section here I was just playing around with. And we've got dynamite, so some dynamite. In terms of like aesthetic, I'm thinking we start off in that corridor. Beforehand, you had some interesting transition ideas. I don't know if you have the old art that you did, but you had like some ideas that Billy could transition areas by like jumping out of a painting into the next hallway, or could fall into a stew, because we've got goat meat stew. So she falls into a stew and kind of like gets swept up into the next area. You had some segments that were like the toy area with like the plushy version of Barnaby, where he's saying we could turn you into a stuffy. We've got things about being baked into a cake, so we could have a food area and kind of focus on having like giant stoves on the floor and make it like a giant kitchen. This isn't necessary for Gamescom, if you think it's too much, of course, but you know, like we've already previously discussed the different themes, so it would be nice to get the different themes, and I do imagine that it might change the floor and the walls. So currently, I really love what you're doing for the main hallway, and the design of that looks really fun and spooky, and exactly the kind of vibe that I think we should go for. But maybe if we were to transition into like a cake area, then it might become a wooden table. Like, you remember that really old concept that you did? Like the very first Barnaby concept with the long wooden table and all the different food? We could do that maybe. We could bring that back and make it a really long table full of food for the cooking segment, you know? Bounce on some jelly or something, or swim through some jelly, or the goat meat stew could be there, you know? So, onto the alligator segment here. When we transition into the lyrics where he says we could bury you alive, or put you in a cage with a hungry alligator, currently you slide down underground, so maybe you jump into a grave or something, and there's like some things to avoid. These segments could change. You have some really great design ideas, like game design ideas, so always happy to hear your feedback. And I was thinking that we could take a break from the chase sequence and do some arenas, like little challenge arenas for a bit. So we have here the hungry alligator. As you slide in, the door slams behind you, and we could have an alligator in here, or maybe one or two alligators, that chase you around and you're just trying to avoid the alligator. Then he says, drop you into a volcano with an active crater. The floor then disappears, and you fall down into a volcano. The camera is completely busted on this, by the way, so when I demonstrate it to you in a minute, it's going to be really buggy. But the idea is that the camera will bring you down into the active volcano, and you'll fall down into the active volcano, and you have to jump on platforms that are coming up with the lava. Another little mini game as you avoid falling in the lava. And when the song transitions to, I think it's like something about Shakespeare dying in a tragicomedy. Oh, I remember, it's Electricity, tragicomedy from Shakespeare, fight a dragon with a shoe, a mummy's curse, we can put you in a fancy hearse, all those sort of things. I thought we could do a couple more arenas. Let me just check if I have my Fmod open, because I've actually annotated all of this inside of Fmod. Here it is. Sorry if this is a really long video, by the way. Maybe we could do a meeting if you want when I get back home, and we could discuss it in more depth if you want to talk about it. Totally up to you, or if this video is enough. Here we go, so I've annotated it all. So I was thinking the arena segment could go from Buried Alive to Stuffy, Mummy's Curse, Dragon, Goat Meat Stew. It doesn't have to, but I was thinking we could start off with Chase, a little arena challenge segment, and then back to a chase sequence again when the chorus picks back up, and we can sort of wrap it up with that final bit there. Just because I think the chase sequence could get a little bit boring after 3 minutes, so I just thought it'd be nice to mix it up with these small challenge areas. Or maybe we could just have it like chase, small challenge segment, chase, small challenge segment, like, you know, mix it up a bit. But totally curious what you think. Like, I think you've got the access to the song and the lyrics, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut up and just play through it quickly and show you what we have. Let me just plug in my controller. So I'll just play through it and you can see what we have already. But what I do think is important is we try and involve the lyrics in some way, or people are definitely going to point that out in reviews and be like, why were the lyrics not being like, he's singing about these different methods of death and they're not in the game? So yeah, once again, camera's kind of shit at the moment, but yeah. The big red block is supposed to be Barnaby.
Now where do you think you're going? The party is this way! And trust me, it's to die for! I know we'll be the best of friends, so there's no need to run. The sooner you get dead, the sooner you can join the fun. No need to feel for I am here. Should we use this rusty
So that's what I mean about the camera. But yeah, I was thinking that when the volcano segment ends, depending on what platform you're sat on, it could shoot you up, like upwards. We can just deload this level so that the volcano is like erupting to push you up into the next arena segment. But those are just some of my ideas. I'm really curious what you think.
Now where do you think you're going? The party is this way. And trust me, it's to die for. I know we'll be the best of friends, so there's no need to run. The sooner you get dead, the sooner you can join the fun. No need to feel for I am here. Now should we use this rusty knife or acid water? There's a million gruesome ways to die. Why resist when the party's just begun? You'll be having so much fun. There's a million gruesome ways to die. Why stay alive? And the show your death will be second to none. Dynamite Now where do you think you're going? The party is this way. And trust me, it's to die for. I know we'll be the best of friends, so there's no need to run. The sooner you get dead, the sooner you can join the fun. No need to feel for I am here. Now should we use this rusty knife or acid water? There's a million gruesome ways to die. Why resist when the party's just begun? You'll be having so much fun. There's a million gruesome ways to die. Why stay alive? And the show your death will be second to none. Dynamite is quick, but it makes a lot of mess. Classify a cow is just embarrassing at best. What bacon to a yummy cake or nothing to a little snake. So drowning in the lobster tank might hurt a little less. There's a million gruesome ways to die. How about impale the forest light? Oh, why resist when the party's just begun? Maybe something on a bike. There's a million gruesome ways to die. We could bury you alive. We're sure your death will be second to none. We could put you in a cage with the hungry alligator. Drop you in a volcano with an active crater. What about 10,000 volts of electricity? Or try a death by Shakespeare in a tragic comedy? Trampled by an elephant or tripped over its stew. Or try to fight a dragon armed with nothing but a shoe. We could do a mommy's curse. We'll put you in a fancy hearse. Or turn into a stuffy now. That's something we should do. There's a million gruesome ways to die. I thought I'd try the guillotine. Why resist when the party's just begun? I give so hard I don't mind bleeding. There's a million gruesome ways to die. There must be something you can try. Sure your death will be second to none. Maybe you can choke upon a grape. Put you in a blender and prepare. Maybe we can find an angry mom. Tie you on a stake and cook you on a bomb. Smothered by a pillow in your bed. Abuse and overdose on too much bread. Then you can join the party from again. I'm sure your death will be second to none. Sure your death will be second Now where do you think you're going? The party is this way. And trust me, it's to die for. I know we'll be the best of friends, so there's no need to run. The sooner you get dead, the sooner you can join the fun. No need to fear, for I am here.
Your mortal form will disappear.
Now should we use this rusty knife or acid water gun? There's a million gruesome ways to die. Oh, why resist when the party's just begun?
You'll be having so much fun.
There's a million gruesome ways to die.
Why stay alive?
And I'm sure your death will be second to none. Dynamite is quick, but it makes a lot of mess. And flattened by a cow is just embarrassing at best. But baked into a yummy cake
Or dropped into a pit of snakes.
though drowning in a lobster tank might hurt a little less.
There's a million gruesome ways to die.
How about impaled upon a spike?
Oh, why resist when the party's just begun?
Maybe something on a bike.
There's a million gruesome ways to die.
We could bury you alive. We're sure your death will be second to none. We could put you in a cage with the hungry alligator. Drop you in a volcano with an active crater. What about 10,000 volts of electricity? Or try a death by Shakespeare in a tragic comedy? Trampled by an elephant or turned to goat meat stew? Or tried to fight a dragon armed with nothing but a shoe? We could do a mommy's curse.
We'll put you in a fancy hearse.
Or turn into a stuffy, now that's something we can do.
There's a million gruesome ways to die.
I thought I'd try the